Welcome again to the Steve and Carole Show, coming at you live from Missoula, Montana. Carole, we miss you. Hope you're having a great time at the Cullen Club. And I also have to give a shout out to Andrea Jameson, our fine videographer. I've been doing this in the handheld way for the last segment in this one, and miss having your talents with us. We're going to try a little bit something different today. We've had a few guests at ASCO, and Carole had Trevor along as the not Steve. So we've got a pretty great not Carole with us today. We're going to try our first interview segment, and our guest is my fine neighbor and someone that some of you Cullen Townies might know, Michael Fitzgerald. Welcome, Michael.
Thanks, Steve.
Welcome to the Steve and Carole Show.
Cullen Town.
Yeah. So I guess let's just start by sharing whatever you want about your story. Let people know.
Yeah, so I'm stage 4, and you were probably, we're literally, we live about 150 feet from each other, and that's how I found out about Cullen Town was you. Mm-hmm. But you were probably diagnosed maybe a year and a half before me.
Yeah, I think so, roughly.
But my story real quick, I was diagnosed May 17th, 2017. No, May 17th, 2017. So it's a little over 2 years ago. And like many of you, I was told inoperable, and my liver was pretty covered, and I had a lot of lymph node activity, and probably like everyone got that. I woke up from a colonoscopy, and no one would really look me in the eye, and I'm very fortunate because I lived. My neighbor had just gone through this, and what did I do? I freaked out, right? I joined
the club.
Yeah. I joined Cullen Town. I started just desperately groping around for something, and the liver. The how involved my liver was drove me to that sort of instructed my what I was looking for, and I ended up at MSK with Dr. Kemeny, and had a successful implant about a month later. First I went to Mayo. Well, one thing, this is, I think, was my big takeaway, is that always give them a second, never settle for someone who tells you you got 6 to 8 months, because that was sort of what I was told.
Yeah.
And my first second opinion, which was I went to Mayo in Scottsdale, Arizona. They didn't give me great news, but they gave me 3 years, maybe 5. So suddenly things were getting a little better, and
so you got a little bit more of a glimmer of hope at Mayo, but then decided to move on from there.
I still hadn't heard cure yet, so I just kept going a little bit. Yeah. And I was fortunate enough to come across the hay pump at Sloan Kettering and Dr. Kemeny, and things lined up that I was able to get the implant. And about 5 months later, I got to Ned, and I've since had a recurrence. But this is it's a whole different world than when I was originally diagnosed. And, and for those of you that don't know, or if you're just sort of new to your prognosis or diagnosis, the hay pump is an implant. It's a puck, it's a titanium puck. Well, it used to be titanium. I don't know what the Medtronic one is. But they put it inside you, and the problem with the liver is that historically, once the cancer's gotten to your liver, systemic chemo doesn't work so great there, because it essentially the liver dilutes toxins. It's like its whole goal. So you put chemo on it and it just dilutes it. So there have been there have been major advances in the last 10 years, so that systemic has been working. But the hay was originally designed to put targeted medicine directly on an organ, it was originally for pain relief, but Kemeny started using it in the late 80s for, I think 86 was the first implant, and her numbers have gotten better and better, and it's not perfect, and it doesn't work in every situation, but so far it's worked for me.
Yeah.
And I know there's other things like Y90, but I think the big real takeaway is if you're newly diagnosed and you're not hearing the news you need, a second, third opinion. Just keep going until someone says, someone gives you hope.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I definitely heard was pretty soon, right off the bat, was, get a second opinion, go to an NCI cancer center if at all possible. For me, it was feasible for me to go to Seattle, 70 days drive, but it was, it was definitely something that helped me sort of figure out where I was at and what my range of options would be. And it gets, like, for me, I got my case in front of a multidisciplinary tumor board, so
Absolutely.
You had a lot of different eyes on it, and then they, hashed out the pros and cons of different approaches.
Yeah, I mean, MSK also has the impact, the genetic impact report, so they immediately do your genetics.
Oh, right.
It's important to do, as everyone knows. Also, this stuff is overwhelming, right? Like, I'm a pretty average intelligent person, and I was overwhelmed, so I think it's important that everyone knows that that's totally normal to feel overwhelmed by the science itself. I think you and Maya and Erica and Manju just do such an amazing job not talking down to all of us. And I mean, I know you're an academic, but I think that's also just an incredible part of Colin Town. I want to. Yeah.
Who are your people? Let's give us some. Who are your shout outs to people who've been helping you along?
It's kind of hard with chemo brain.
I know the feeling.
I forget the names of my children, so if I forget anyone's name, but Hay Pump has really been sort of my little neighborhood.
Those are your people,
yeah. Especially in the beginning, but
Mm-hmm.
Maria, Betsy, Pam, who has passed, but was just an incredible example. I mean, this is the other thing. Even the people who leave us in this situation, I think we were saying before that there's life before and after cancer, and I've been witness to just sort of a dignified way of existing, even in the face of the unknown. That it's this is awful to say, but it's not all bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel I've gotten so much out of the people that I've run into in horrible situations. But Don, Marcia, who else? There's some new people. Eric's kind of a character. But Hay Pump's, they're getting a little closer to anybody who does the Hay Pump has a thing inside them. So they're starting to. We're moving towards the singularity. That's my goal. I'll eventually be 100% titanium.
Right on. Yeah.
But anyway,
Robo Man.
Thanks, Colin Town, and thank you, Erica.